Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you today. Hopefully, everybody had a top-notch Thanksgiving. Yes, I did the turkey yesterday, the stuffing, the potatoes, the beans, the asparagus, the corn casserole. Yes, corn casserole, the cranberry stuff, all of that good stuff, only to come back online and see Angel Reese has yet again talked about Caitlin Clark. But it's not always Angel Reese's fault, folks. Sometimes we need to point the finger at the media out there, right? Sometimes we need to point the finger at the people that continuously bring up Caitlin Clark every time they decide to get an Angel Reese interview. So from an Angel Reese standpoint, I guess I can understand being tired of it, say, hey, you guys are asking me to come here and talk to you, yet every time I'm here talking to you, you're always bringing up Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game. If they have somebody that competed against the hottest thing in women's sports, they got to ask about it. If they bring up somebody who allegedly has a rivalry with the hottest thing in sports, they got to talk about it. I can understand why you're frustrated. The media needs to talk about it. It's a double-edged sword, unfortunately. However, the control that you have over the situation, you have the ability to speak on it in a select manner that seems fit to you. And this time around seems to, I don't want to say you were necessarily coached, but maybe somebody talked to you and said, you know what, Angel, maybe when we go out on these interviews and people ask us these Caitlin Clark questions, maybe we can answer it a little bit more diplomatic. Maybe we don't need to toss an entire fan base under the bus every single time. Maybe we can talk about this from, I don't know, maybe a more of a realistic standpoint, right? And for those of you guys who didn't hear what Angel Reese had to say, this is Angel Reese on a complex interview. Again, the guy is in the media. I guess they need to ask, right? Angel Reese needs to respond. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword, but what Angel Reese controls is how she responds. Because let's be honest here, only in the WNBA do they ask Caitlin Clark about Angel Reese. This whole entire PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, I didn't hear them ask her once about Angel Reese. So it's definitely a one-way street. They ask one about the other. They don't ask the other about one. Let's take a listen, shall we?
Really inspired me or touched me.
Beautiful. One of the names that we always hear when we hear Angel Reese is Caitlin Clark as well. People have tried to pit you guys against each other. How much of that is actual rivalry versus just commentary from the public, like people trying to make you guys be enemies?
Yeah, I think it's just competition. It's been competition since college, being able to play against Caitlin. I've been playing against Caitlin since we were probably in 8th or 9th grade. We both were really competitive during AAU. I went to Maryland, she went to Iowa, so we competed there, and then finally being able to compete in the national championship. So people don't know the legacy of us being able to play against each other for a really long time. But obviously social media is going to put two women against each other. And I think it's just been able to be something that is negative, but also positive. I think it shines light on women's basketball. So I'll take that of being able to be the person that gets the hate, but I know that at the end of the day, I'm growing women's basketball and helping women's basketball.
All right, before he asks this second question, let me just address that real quick. Angel, I know I get it. You don't like to take accountability. You don't like to take blame. I understand, right? I was there once upon a time, right? As a young buck coming up in this world, I was there. I want to take accountability, but then you get to a point and you're like, you know what? I'm only going to improve if I start taking accountability for my own actions, right? If I start taking responsibility for my own actions, stop blaming everybody else, that's how I'm really going to see some improvement. So I understand you want to say, yeah, the media needs to pin a good girl and a bad girl against each other, and they need it for the storylines. Angel Reese, let's not forget, you were the one that said you'll take the villain role, right? You were the one that said you're going to expect people to hate you. You were the one that said you'll take that responsibility of being the one that people hate. You were the one that decided to wear the Joker shoes. You are the one feeding into this nonsense of you being the villain in this Fugazi rivalry. Can we all sit back and understand that? Can we all collectively agree that not only did the media facilitate this based on Angel Reese's actions, let's not forget Angel Reese's actions that really started this whole thing, right? It was nothing Caitlin Clark did to Angel Reese, nothing Caitlin Clark did to LSU. It was all Angel Reese on a loaded LSU roster beating a Iowa team led by Caitlin Clark in the national championship game, going like this, that led to all of this dialogue that is currently transpiring for the last 2 years or so. So if Angel Reese can sit back and understand that and take accountability for that, then we'd be able to have conversations about this a little bit more honestly, correct? Moving along.
Do you feel like sometimes her fans cross the line?
I don't think it's just her fans. I think it's fans in general. I mean, people don't realize at the end of the day we're human. I mean, you guys watch us, and knowing that, like, it's just basketball. I promise you, it's just basketball. I don't have any hard feelings towards her. She doesn't have any hard feelings towards me, but yeah, it gets crazy sometimes.
So this gentleman opens up the interview saying how media pins them against each other, and then he follows up with a question trying to pin them against each other. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't make this up. Do you see why people pin you against each other? Hey, what do you think about her fans? Angel Reese, you handled that question very well, right? That's how you should have been handling these types of questions from the onset of your senior season at LSU up until this point. Instead, you decided to feed into the drama, feed into the noise, feed into the bullshit, and now you painted yourself as something that I know you come out and say you want to be the villain, but when people start treating you as such, it's not a good feeling, Angel. That's why you were breaking down last year at the end of the Elite Eight game. Because when you're playing the villain role and winning, it's all fun. Ooh, woo, I'm the villain. Ooh, wee. But when you're playing the villain role and losing, and the noise gets a little louder, the chatter gets a little louder, they start treating you like an actual villain, you start boo-hooing. It is what it is. But the way you handled that was correct. It's not just Caitlin fans, it's all fans, right? It's all fans. There's no hate, there's no disdain, right? It's all fans are like that, not just Caitlin Clark fans, which is interesting. People are taking this two ways, right? We have she's getting coached, but don't trust this, right? CDS, she clearly got coached. I'll give her props for listening to the advice, but it's still all lies. She just called all Clark fans racist on her podcast. I know it's a TikTok generation, but some of us can remember past yesterday. This is a good point. 2 weeks ago, she's calling Caitlin Clark fans racist on her podcast, and then today she suddenly has a change of heart, right? 4 weeks ago, she's calling Caitlin Clark fans racist on her podcast, and then 4 weeks later, now she suddenly has a change of heart, right? 6 weeks ago, she's calling Caitlin Clark fans racist on her podcast, and now 6 weeks later, she has a change of heart, right? 8 weeks ago, she's calling Caitlin Clark. You guys understand the point? You understand the point he's trying to make? You're a liar. You're a liar. We don't believe you. You need more people. If you know, you know. Shout out to a legend. Jay-Z. Bigger baby. It was there for me, folks. It was there for me. I had to take advantage of it. I'm sorry. But yeah. Show me who you are once. At some time I need to accept the character that you are portraying out there, right? If you're going to continuously show yourself as a villain, eventually that's what you are. And then these little spits, these little spurts of you coming and speaking sanely, it's going to get overlooked and as it should, to be fair. How many times are you going to spit in our face and tell us it's raining, right? And then we got Bane. Salute to you, Bane. The fact that after college she was trying to paint this picture that they're friends only to watch her jump out of her seat to celebrate that dirty hit by Kennedy Carter turned me from liking her. Again, you say one thing, but you do another. Actions speak louder than words. I'm not sure if this is the exact clip that he is referring to, but I went and I hunted something down. Let's take a listen, shall we?
I mean, I love Caitlin. We've been competing since we were in AAU. I mean,
I
AAU
love
days, we've always
Caitlin.
competed. I remember she was on All Iowa Tech, and we used to play each other in AAU, and it was always fun and always competitive. One day, hopefully, me and her can be teammates because, I mean, she is a great player and a great shooter and a great person and a great teammate, and understanding that the world is going to have to, they always put a good girl and a bad girl, and just understanding that that's just what it is. And it's just going to be what it is, and I'll take that I'm going to be the bad guy, but I know I've grown women's basketball, and I know I'm being positive, and I know that I've inspired people. So people can think what they think. I know me and Caitlin, we've been cool. We've never had any issues. So just knowing that I've grown women's basketball, and she has too, and just help do that is all that matters.
Wow, okay. We're cool. I love Caitlin. And then we get to the Kennedy Carter moment, and it's like, wait a second, what's going on here? I thought this is interesting. Boom, and then we have Angel Reese jumping off the bench cheering. That's interesting. We got Kennedy Carter blindsiding Caitlin. We got Angel Reese jumping off the bench cheering, jumping for joy, and then eventually they go back to the bench, and they're over there hugging it up on the sidelines. Man, you got her, girl. You really cleaned her clock out. Woo-wee. Just like we talked about in the locker room. Again, this is why you can't always take everything at face value. Right? As much as we would like to say that she turned a page, what about 2 weeks from now in the next interview, right? What about 3 weeks from now in the next podcast, right? And then we have the flip side, right? That are just appreciating this as it is, right? And I can understand that as well. Salute to you, Ken, right? Angel Reese was on the complex and was asked about Caitlin Clark. I will give 100% her props for how she answered the question about if she gets hate from Caitlin's fans. Would love to see more WNBA players echo her sentiment. Absolutely, Ken. Like I said earlier in the video, this is how she should have been answering questions from the onset of her senior year to the point we are here now. Be diplomatic. Let's not ruffle feathers for no reason. Let's not just feed into drama for no reason. Let's not try to get a reaction and a rise out of people for no reason. Let's not always try to paint ourselves against others for no reason. Let's not try to say Chicago fans versus Indiana fans. Indiana fans are the bad fans. Our fans are great. Let's not try to do all that. And I think how Angel Reese answered that fan question, absolutely, Ken, 100% right. We also have Neology. Salute to you. I applaud Angel for this. Like she said, it's all fans, just like it is in every sport. It's not just one fan base popping shit. That's what makes sports sports. The competitiveness, even with the fans. Absolutely 1,000% right again. It's all fans. All fans talk shit. All fans talk trash. All fans say it's me. All fans do that. That's the thing. All fans do that. The issue that a lot of Indiana Fever fans and a good amount of Caitlin Clark fans had with the dialogue all season long is that people in the media and the old guard WNBA tried to make it seem like only Indiana Fever fans were doing a certain something. Only Indiana Fever fans were acting a certain way. Only Caitlin Clark fans were doing something. Only Caitlin Clark fans were acting a certain way. Meanwhile, every single fan base has fans that do one thing, that do another, that do something cool, do something stupid, do something egregious, do something foul. All fans have that, and all fans have trolls. And players need to say all fans have trolls. It's not just Caitlin Clark fans. It's not just Indiana Fever fans. It's all fans act and behave this way, right? It is what it is. Something that might have given her a little bit of perspective on this is when we had Isabel Harrison and Dana Evans in their post-season exit interview talking about how Chicago fans were being hateful, racist, demeaning them. Let's play a little bit of this, shall we?
With all the new attention maybe that's not the right way to put it, but
No, I get what you're saying.
how did you guys experience that? What was the sort of content of it? Like, what was the feeling like? What were you reading, seeing, hearing?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It was tough. I mean, Izzy, I know you can attest to that too.
Yeah.
It was really tough. I mean, we're professionals. We know that we can play this game. I mean, but when you got people that's steady bashing you, that's supposed to
Every
be
day.
our supporters, I feel like that was a little slap in the face, and that was hard to kind of deal with. But
It was disgusting.
it was really disgusting. But I always say God does not make mistakes, and I feel like this season really challenged my mental to another level, and I feel like I'm going to be so much better next season, just mentally prepared for everything. And I know, Izzy, you kind of feel that way too.
I've never experienced this amount of
Hate
and harassment this entire season. I get emotional about it because I know Dana went through the same, but it's hard because it should have never been like that. And
We got these players breaking down during their exit interviews. We got Isabel Harrison crying. We got Dana Evans saying that it was her own supporters, her own fans doing this to them during the season, folks. It's all fans, right? Do you need your teammates to put life into its perspective? Do you need your teammates to say there's life outside of this box? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What were you guys eating on yesterday? What was the meal of the day? Turkey? Fish? Ziti? Lasagna? Ham? Let me know. Chinese food? I don't know. Appreciate you guys. As always, take it easy.